Welcome to the Hand Spinner Having Fun, and my name is Beverly. For those of you who's been to the shop, you may have seen these, and this is called a Spurtzleur, and it's a hand-turned piece of wood for spinning. This one is some reclaimed poplar. So I'm going to do a quick video to show you how to set up your Spurtzleur, how to spin with it, how to ply with it. I'll show you from a couple of angles as well, but we'll do this from the front first of all. So I'm going to spin some Jacob's Humbug. I've chosen this fibre because, as you can see, it's two different colours, and so you can see the twist as it's applied to the fibre more easily. As in any spinning, whether it's a drop spindle or a wheel spinning, you have to apply a leader thread to whatever you're spinning with. I'm going to use the Jacob's fibre to create the leader thread. So I'm just going to hold that, and I'm just going to pull out some of the fibre from my roving, and I'm just going to twist it just enough so that it holds together. I can then tie a knot round the Spurtzleur to hold it in place. I'm going to do a double knot so it's fairly firm. There we go. So to start off with, I'm going to hold the fibre just past the knot, pull out a little bit of fibre, and then I'm going to twist the Spurtzleur. And so some of the twist will actually go into the fibre. I'm going to hold it at the end of the twist, pull back some more fibre and pinch it. So there's about 2-3 inches of fibre between my fingers. When I then let go with my right hand, a little bit of twist will go down the fibre, and I'm going to add the twist in. When I've got enough twist to hold it, I'm going to wrap it onto my Spurtzleur. I'm going to hold my Spurtzleur in my right hand and pinch the fibre at the end of the twist, draft back some fibre, about 2-3 inches of fibre, open my right fingers and then twist again. So you've got enough twist to hold the fibre together, and then I'm going to wind it in. So again, holding the Spurtzleur in my right hand, pinching at the end of the twist so the fibre after that pinched grip is then straight, so I can pull it back easily, drafting back 2 or 3 inches, pinching again, opening my right fingers, and you can just see the twist just starting to go down there. So I'm not going to pull these fibres up, I'm not going to pull my hands apart at the time because that might just break the fibre, and instead I'm going to add twist to make the whole thing stick together. So pinch, draft, pinch, open your hands and add some twist. I'm just going to say something about actually the movement of twisting. So if you can imagine the left hand and the finger and the thumb is the centre of a clock. So that is held steady like the centre of a clock is. It doesn't move. Whereas the hands move round the clock. So if you imagine the Spurtzleur are the hands, so you can move it round in a clockwise direction round the centre of the clock. I'm not holding the Spurtzleur really tight grip with a really tight grip. If I did, all that would happen is I'd end up with the Spurtzleur and the end of the twist just being at the same place, but not enough twist in it. So as I'm moving the Spurtzleur round in a clockwise direction, I'm actually letting the handle go. I'm hardly holding that at all. And again, with enough twist in, winding it in, pinching and drafting, letting go, adding the twist in. So I'm hardly holding this at all. It's just letting it almost unwind. It feels very counterintuitive to actually be winding it one direction but then just letting it loose at the same time. It's quite a tricky movement, but once you get used to it, you can go quite quickly. So again, pinching, drafting, letting a bit in. And when you get used to that movement and you get the feel of the drafting of the fibre, the pulling apart of the fibre, you can allow your left hand then just to draft back some fibre, and it's just about managing the twist. So as you've put twist in, when you've stopped twisting round, just pulling the fibre back, and again adding more twist in and pulling back and adding more twist in. But to start with, if you use the pinch method, it gets you the idea to control the twist. Spinning is always about controlling the twist, and the twist is the glue that holds the fibre together. This type of spinning will not be particularly helpful for large amounts. I mean, you could spend a long time if you were to spin a kilo of fibre this way. But if you're an embroiderer, or you want just a small amount of fibre to add a border or a bit of detail, or even just to see how two fibres work together and what kind of thickness you might want to spin them on a wheel, it's quite a quick way of just seeing the fibres work together, and then you can adapt it to your needs, or on a different wheel or a drop spindle. So the main thing is to keep the movement of the Spurtzleur going the same direction each time. If you start to then wind it the other direction, it will just unwind all the twist and it'll fall apart. So you've just got to keep it going the same direction. I'm just going to show you this from a different angle now. So you can now see this from the angle that I'm seeing it. So starting off spinning with the pinching of the fibre at the end of the twist, drafting back some fibre, pinching again, letting go with your right hand, so a little bit of twist goes down the fibre, keeping my left hand still as if it's the centre of a clock, and then winding round the Spurtzleur as if it was going clockwise round a clock face. And as you can see, my right hand is almost unwinding the fibre at the same time as the Spurtzleur's moving round. So I'm not gripping it tightly. But you can see the twist moving down the fibre. And you don't have to have a lot of twist to hold the fibre together. If you were to put too much twist into the fibre, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So we'll put lots and lots and lots of twist into the fibre. So when you just hold the fibre together, it'll just make a little curl like that. That might be a little bit too much twist. So I'm just going to take a little bit out. If you don't put enough twist in, it will just pull apart. So again, pinch, draft, pinch, open your right finger and thumb and add in some twist to the fibre. Wind on, pinch, draft, pinch again, open your right finger and thumb and add the twist in, wind in, pinch, draft, pinch again, open your right finger and thumb, add the twist in. And then once you've got the idea of pulling the fibre apart, again you can just use the twist to select the fibre. So I am pinching a little bit there just so as I can just know where the twist is going, but the twist is about here because my fibre is straight after that point. So I'm just managing that little V where the end of the twist meets the straight fibre. And as I've got enough twist in it, I'll wind it in and I'll just pull the fibre apart gently, and again add a little bit of twist in and pull apart. It's just watching that V and where the twist ends, letting it select straight fibres that are parallel. If you want to spin a thicker yarn, then you need more fibres after this V, you put lots of fibres in there, and that will make it a thicker spinning thread. So you can see now that's going quite thick. And again, you can see the twist quite nicely. So that's a thicker one, and again, fewer fibres for thinner. So what you would do, you would continue to spin in this manner until you had enough fibre on the Spurtzleur. So you might have, quite a lot in there. And then I would wind it off around a pebble or something similar to give it a little bit of weight, and then I'll show you how to ply. Okay, so I've been spinning along and I have broken my fibre, which happens. So the way to attach a next bit of fibre is to hold the Spurtzleur at the end of the twist and pinch at the end of the twist, so the fibre after the pinch is straight. You need 2 or 3 inches, and then lay that alongside 2 or 3 inches of straight fibre from what you're going to join in. If you just hold them together, and as you start to twist, it will join them in together. They'll be attracted to each other. So I've got a little bit of extra fibre there. I'm just going to take that off. That's it. And just add a bit more twisting. Wind it in, and then you're back to drafting. There we go. And then you can continue spinning with your new piece of fibre.
Okay.
So to ply the fibre, you need to wind off 2 balls that have been spun in the same direction. So I've got a white ball here, which I think is Cheviot, and I have some of the Jacob's Humbug that we've just been spinning. You don't need a leader thread, but instead you would put the 2 fibres together. Just try and maintain the twist in the end so it just doesn't unravel, and tie that onto your Spurtzleur. Tie it fairly tight so it doesn't move around. You don't want it kind of unravelling at the same time as you're trying to ply it. So I would tend to use a double knot. Okay. And then, so your left hand is going to keep the 2 strands in some reasonable order and act again as the centre of the clock face. The Spurtzleur this time, instead of moving in a clockwise direction, instead of doing that way where you were spinning, is going to move the opposite direction. It's going to go anti-clockwise, and you can see as I move the Spurtzleur anti-clockwise without moving my left hand, the ply moving down the thread. So you can twist it enough depending on how much twist you want in to the finished fibre. You can count within, say, a 4-inch piece of yarn how many twists are in it. So you may add, say, 8 or 10 twists, and then once you have twisted the fibre enough, you wind it onto your Spurtzleur. I would just pinch it at the end there while you again draft back a little bit of the 2 fibres. So again, that's what, 4 or 5 inches, and I'm going to add some ply to that, and I'm going to wind it in, pinch, and again. Now I keep doing this the wrong direction, so let me see if I can, that's it, try and get that the right direction. So pinch, wind back, that's it, and add in the twist for the ply. Pinch, draft back, and wind it in. And again, after you kind of get the idea of doing this, you can let these two run reasonably free. So just to get the right amount of twist into the finished fibre. Because I haven't got any weight in these end bobbins, I do need to undo them a little bit because they're getting a bit stuck. So once you have completed the ply, you can either just wind it off into a ball, or you could just wind it around your fingers to make a small little hank, and then you could tie that off. So once you've tied that off, if you just put it into some warm water, it will bubble a little bit, and some of the extra twist that you might have in it will just even out, and then you should get a pretty balanced yarn that you could then use for your project. So that's Spurtzleur spinning, a really simple and low cost way of introducing yourself to spinning. You have a lot of control over the amount of twist that you put into the fibre, and it really gives you the idea of drafting the fibre. Drop spindling and spinning on a wheel, it's the same principle, but it's a lot faster, so you have to be able to work with the fibre in a lot faster manner. But this is a really good way of starting off. The Spurtzleurs that we sell in the shop come with full written instructions, and I think that in conjunction with this video, I think would give you a really good way of understanding how to use this piece of kit. Thank you. Hope you've enjoyed that.